Hey, what's up YouTube? Back in the Focus ST video. So I get this question a lot. People will contact me any way that they contact me, either through email, through DM, or in the comment section of YouTube. And of course, it's open. Contact me any way you want to. I'm open. I talk to everybody, as long as you're not a troll. So anyways, I get this question a lot. I just got my Focus ST. What should I do to it? What's the first thing that I should do to it? So I'm making this video to address what I feel are the first things you should do to your Focus ST, or the first mods, whatever you want to call them, to do to your Focus ST. Now, of course, take this as you will. I do think that you should drive your car for a good maybe week or two and figure out what you like and dislike about it, and then maybe use this video as advice as to what to change. All the things I'm going to say in this video I've done except for two things, and these two things are future videos I already have planned. I have the parts coming in, and I'll tell you what they are when I get to it. So here we go. This is in no particular order either, just things that I think you should do to your Focus ST. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about in this video is the clutch spring. Now, if you follow my channel for a long time, you know when I first got this Focus ST, I made a first look, a walk around video, and I was so excited. But I did say in that video that I didn't like the clutch spring action. I didn't like the clutch action of this car. And I had this car for a very long time. I want to say about a year and a half. And I finally did the clutch spring delete, or the clutch spring mod, or whatever you want to call it. Earlier this year, 2017, I did it a couple weeks ago. Actually, it wasn't a couple weeks ago, it was like a month or two ago. You've seen the video. So I have been rolling around on this for the past, I'm gonna say about 20 minutes, and let me tell you that this feels so good. I absolutely love it. Downshifts feel great. My freaking upshifts, they feel great. I'm not going to talk too much about it in this video, but I do think that that's one of the first things you should do to this car, because it becomes a little easier to drive. The clutch action is not as weird. Everything becomes a little more linear, and it just feels much better. Okay, so the second thing I want to talk about in this video is the muffler delete. I deleted my muffler, and I really think you should delete your muffler also. I have a video on that. I got it done at Pro Muffler here in Augusta, Georgia, and that video has so many views. I don't even know why. I don't even know where that came from, why that came from, but I'm not even complaining about that. So I mean, it really is like one of my highest rated videos as far as views, and I just don't, whatever. But I have two videos on my muffler, so if you watch that video, and then you can go and watch my stratified tune muffler video where I talked about, well, I had muffler delete, and I had the pops and crackles and stuff, and that video has a little better audio quality, but it is a little lower, so I advise you to wear headphones or turn up your speakers to have a nice surround sound system or whatever. You can hear what it sounds like more from that video because it is driving footage. You do hear pops and crackles and stuff, but I do have my muffler deleted, and I highly advise you to get a muffler delete if you want a higher sound in your car, a louder sound in your car, and you don't want to spend a bunch of money on it. Now, going this way, you will get drone. You will get drone on the highway, going at, you know, higher highway speeds, doing like 70 or 80 or whatever the speed limit is. You will get a little drone. For me, it's not that big of a deal because I like the way it sounds, and I do blast music. I mean, you know me. Everybody knows me. I jam out the music all the time, so that's not a big deal for me. The drone's not really a big deal for me. But I will say that you do have a little drone on at highway speeds, but driving around town and doing town speeds and stuff like that, if you do city speeds, city driving, you're gonna be just fine. So the next thing I want to talk about in this video is unplugging the Sound Composer. Yes, I kind of put these two in order, but I do think you should unplug the Sound Composer if you go with the muffler delete, or if you just hate the way the Sound Composer sounds, period. Just unplug it. You save yourself a little money. Now, in the long run, I don't think you should use this as a permanent thing to do. I do think that if you're going to unplug your Sound Composer, it should be temporary, and then you go ahead and get your Sound Composer delete kit and delete it from there, because you will have a little blow-by oil that will get into the Sound Composer, and that happens, period, either if you unplug it or not. So I do advise you to go ahead and, in the long run, get the Sound Composer delete kit, but in the short term, for a quick fix, unplug the Sound Composer and tape it up. Do something with the plug, because I don't have mine unplugged, but I'll show some B-roll footage of what it looks like. Now, do something with the plug though. Tape it up somewhere, because you don't want the plug to dangle. I wouldn't want the plug to dangle, because right under there you do have your transmission cables under there, and I don't want, you don't want the plug to get into the way of all that stuff. So go ahead and tape the plug up somewhere in the car, or just kind of, rig it up so that the plug doesn't dangle. But yes, unplugging it is a super fast, quick, easy way to get rid of your Sound Composer sound. Okay, so here comes the air filter. Now, I have a green air filter in my car. I liked my air filter. I wanted the air filter because of the way it sounded. and I didn't want a cold air intake. Now, for me, I'm not going to get a cold air intake, period. I don't feel as if a cold air intake is going to do much of anything for this car, especially with the stock turbo, so I'm gonna just stay with the OG intake that this car has, because it works wonderfully, especially when you have an oiled air filter. If you want that cold air intake sound, you really can get it with just a nice green air filter, K&N, Cobb, those types of oiled air filters. Advice on which air filter to get. I have green, I like it. Now, a lot of people on the forums, and I can agree with this, of course, because it's just basic science, they say to go with a dry flow filter, the AEM dry flow filter, because you do get better filtration, you do get a little bit more flow compared to the stock air filter, but you do have much better filtration compared to the green air filter, K&N, and stuff like that. Now, as far as strictly sounds, if you want sounds, of course you're going to need to go with the green or one of the oiled air filters, because they do have more airflow, and you will get that more of that turbo sound from the recirculating bypass valve. But I do suggest that you just go with the air filter instead of going with a whole cold air intake. Or you can just use the you can just use the air filter as a first step to getting your cold air intake. Whatever you want to do, getting cold air intake is something you want to do, then go for it. I'm not telling you not to get a cold air intake, but for me, the green air filter works just fine, and it will work just fine for the future.
I decided not to use my color as a handicap. He a designer, artist, producer, and he rap. Never found virtue from patience. In the dark room just pacing. Precious time is just wasting. You do not what we facing. I cannot be complacent. In my job be courageous. Another kid just got shot. They can't find it, assailant.